So Trevor, based on the different types of risks that we just discussed that are most commonly an obstacle for people getting through retirement, which one or two really are the ones that frighten you the most here?
Longevity and volatility.
Longevity and volatility. Okay, and that's extremely common. Those are two of the most widespread ones that everyone is working through dealing with, and we see it pretty frequently. So, and from there, just to recap, what do we have as far as our different retirement assets? So what types of accounts?
So I have my 401k.
Okay.
I have an IRA. I have my Roth account as well.
Okay.
And then brokerage.
And the brokerage. Okay. And completely up to you, but do we want to account for Social Security?
Yeah, I
okay.
think so.
We can throw that
I believe in it.
All right. We'll hope it's still around. We'll make sure that it's a bonus and not what we're relying on here. So, so as we look at these two things, longevity and volatility being some of your biggest fears, let's go through these different types of accounts. So 401k, what's the biggest risk that we're having to address there?
It's just invested in the regular portfolio that they give us.
Exactly. It's invested, which means that it can have ups and downs, it can be volatile. And then there's no guarantee that those assets are going to last forever. You can spend them down and the account balance comes to zero and you don't have enough to make it through retirement, right? So for that one, we're dealing with both those risks there, longevity and volatility. For the IRA, what about for that one?
Same thing.
Exactly. What about Roth IRA?
Same thing.
Brokerage?
It's just all invested in stocks.
Mm-hmm. So the only one, and really this could be, depending on your perspective here, the only one that we know is going to actually provide some sort of stability is Social Security, right?
Yeah.
And that's assuming it's still there when we get to that point. So as we look at these, and this kind of addresses the point that we just went through, which of these are actually guaranteed?
None of them are, apart from Social Security.
That's right. So
that's not even fully guaranteed either.
We'd like to think it is, and hopefully we'll still be able to get some sort of payout. But yeah, it's exactly right. If we look at these, none of these types of accounts are going to provide guaranteed income or resources when you retire, right? So really the purpose for all these is to make sure that we have the funds and the money and the income to be able to pay for retirement expenses, right? What things you want to do. So there's really going to be two different types of expenses we deal with. You have your fixed, and this is just like your situation today. You have fixed expenses, you have variable expenses, right? So what are some of the fixed expenses that you expect to have in retirement?
Property tax comes every year.
We could even argue taxes in general, right?
Yeah. Let's see, what else? The mortgage should be paid off, so we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Great.
But just the regular stuff like gas, groceries, electrical bill, gas bill. Let's see.
Car payments, maybe?
No, those are paid off.
Okay. What else?
Let's see. Fixed. What else is fixed?
And sort of memberships, maybe things that you're involved in.
Country club membership.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a few others that we can throw in there, but I think that most likely covers the basics unless you see anything I'm missing.
No, that list seems about right.
Okay. And so then let's talk through variable expenses. So things that are, either
vacations.
Exactly. What else?
I don't know if gifts for the grandkids and the kids should be a variable or fixed expense, so we'll put that in variable.
Needless to say, no one's going to have their health suffer if you can't pay them give them a gift every year. So
I guess medical expenses.
It's medical, exactly.
I guess that's a fixed expense.
We'll say variable because we don't know. There's not like you're going to have a set medical bill each month. It depends on your health and whatnot, so it's a little bit more variable. What else?
let's see. I guess going out money, just nice dinners and stuff like that.
Yeah. Fun events. And now we mentioned that country club. Well, even though the membership's paid, fixed expense,
Golf balls.
all of the things involved for actually getting out and playing golf, right?
Mm-hmm.
So really, as we're going through this list, the easiest way to define this is these are the needs, the necessities, and these are the wants, or things that would be, making retirement even better for you.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're looking at things, my job as a planner when we're looking at this is to make sure at a bare minimum we have enough guaranteed income to cover these fixed expenses, right? Because we need to make sure that you're not in a position to where the lights can't stay on. Food's not being put on the table. You're not able to put gas in your car, pay your property taxes, and all of that. So when we look at this, we want to make sure that we guarantee at a minimum the needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we're comparing, so first let's look at what else aside from fixed expenses would you want to have guaranteed in your retirement to be able to afford?
Definitely golf and traveling.
Golf.
And I guess the gifts.
Okay.
And probably the medical.
I was going to say, I was like, well, I hope that we want to be able to guarantee that we can pay the medical bills.
Yeah.
But so you get a good understanding here. So we want to make sure that you're not having to choose between going on vacation and paying your medical bills,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when we compare our sources of income and our expenses, we kind of look at our cash flow in retirement. Do you think that Social Security, the only guaranteed income that we really have, is going to be enough to provide a guaranteed flow or stream of money for those things that we have circled?
Definitely not.
Okay. So as we look at that then, my job is to make sure that we've positioned you to where there is enough guaranteed sources that we're going to have to pay for these things that you just circled.
Mm-hmm.
When we're looking at options, we're only going to consider the things that make sure we have those covered and that everything else is extra above and beyond that you can use those other assets for.
Okay.
All right. So as we look at this, that's where we see all these things that are going to be subject to that longevity and volatility, maybe figuring out a mix of ways in which we can turn some of those into guaranteed sources of retirement income.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.